Have you ever had one of those experiences in life where you just looked back and said, did that really just happen? Really? That was me today. I am just here in my hotel room. Just got back after driving back from Kane, and I'm just in absolute awe. I just finished packing my bag so I can head to Kane, Pennsylvania. This is something I have been waiting for the longest time. And we've been on the hunt to find a true, pure birch. And I want to bring you along so that you can learn and experience this dream that finally has come to fruition. So come along with me. Finally doing this. So we came into Pittsburgh. It is snowing, so we're looking for an all-wheel drive vehicle. National was out, so we decided we're just gonna try Enterprise.
Going with Enterprise, the sister to National.
Yes, we have 2.5 hours to drive now to Kane, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I think we came ill-equipped for this cold weather.
It's Draco.
That was a Draco.
I'm in Slytherin house now.
See?
Slytherin.
Oh, I usually like to get some good protein, some fruit and vegetables, and water.
12 waters, I'm gonna put 6 in there.
Oh, yes. Oh, that won't even be enough.
Really? Okay.
No. Yeah, let's get 3 of those. You like shopping?
I'm on my phone.
Ben likes to shop at Walmart late at night in Pittsburgh. It is 2:30 in the morning here, so I need to get some sleep. We have an early morning start, so I'm going to take the Serenity stick, rub it under my nose. I'm excited for tomorrow. It's going to be the best day. I can't wait to show you. Here we are at Kane Manor. It was built in 1896 for General Thomas Kane, and its history is absolutely incredible. It's a cute little bed and breakfast. So if you're coming to do a leader-led event, you get to come in and stay here. They have 15 rooms. You come in and have breakfast in the morning. Each and every room has its own little personality, but you can see all of the historical art, and it really feels like you have just stepped back into time. Has it been turned around? Got about 5.5 hours of sleep. I just put cypress here on this eye. I want you to look at the difference between this eye and this eye, untreated. So cypress is really good for lymphatic drainage. I am so excited we finally get to go see the Birch distillery. We opened it almost a year ago. I wasn't able to go, but I have waited all of this time to finally see it. So here we go. Today is the day.
I didn't realize that this is Emily's first time.
This was a spontaneous trip. We just scheduled it a couple of days ago. And finally, I get to see Woodside Oils. I get to see where our birch is being distilled. I get to see where we cracked the code right here in the heartland of the Allegheny National Forest. So this all started 8 years ago, Ben.
Yeah.
And you had talked to me about the trials, and we couldn't get any oil out of the birch that we found.
We knew that we had the right trees in the right location, but we struggled to figure out how to get it out.
When we have a vision, when we have a goal in sight, we refuse to give up. The doors just open. And that's why we're here today, is to go discover how this all came together. This is real.
This is so
It really
real.
exists.
Yeah.
You say finally, huh? I'm Emily. Nice to meet you. I've been excited to meet you. And you must be Royce.
I'm Royce. You have to sign in.
Okay, absolutely. This is to show where people have come from?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
You want to walk through and just take a look at your facility?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
This is our lovely brand new crane that was just installed about 2 weeks ago. Took about 10 days to get it up and set.
Before, how were you getting the...
So we were just using a telehandler here,
Okay.
which is very awkward and
A
not
little
as
bit of
safe.
a safety.
Yeah.
So the crane just picks it up here and just carries it right
Carry
over.
the crane back over.
So it comes in like this. This is fresh. All that bark is so,
That's all.
That's-
This is just the bark.
yeah, it's very fine, you know, and we've instructed these guys as close to powder as you can get to. all the loggers understand the time frame. We can't have it sitting out for months and months. It has
You
to
lose
be-
your oil. So what happens with the rest of the wood? What about the center of the tree?
That still goes where it was always intended to go, which is to a chipping manufacturer, which is going to use that to convert into paper.
Okay, so because we have a need for the bark,
Yeah.
now the inside of the tree is going to the paper mills. It's actually being put to good use.
We borrow the bark, we give it a bath,
We
give
take
it
the
right back.
essential oils out, and then we
Yep.
give it back to the earth.
and everyone's supply chain is intact.
Not only is there no waste, but we've actually created a whole value chain.
It'll steam anywhere from 8 to 12 hours.
So it's really more like a steam bath.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
It's a steam bath.
like sitting in a hot sauna.
Exactly.
How much plant material does this hold?
About 3,800 pounds.
How much oil are you going to get?
It can vary from roughly a kilo to a kilo and a half.
Most separators, you're going to see that the oil is going to rise to the top and the water is going to fall to the bottom. With birch, it's the opposite. Because the molecular weight is heavier, the oil is going to fall to the bottom. 3,800 pounds of birch bark equates to this amount of oil. So we have about 1/10 of 1% yield. We're hoping to improve this yield over time. We're learning, we're innovating, but this is why it is so precious.
This was the test still that we got
Okay.
started with. In the beginning, regardless of where we were taking it, it was too long. By the time the material got there, the oil was gone. So it wasn't until we got this test still brought to Kane that we were able to start cracking the nut and seeing, oh, you can get oil, but there's a very short shelf life from when you cut that tree down to when you get the bark off to do it.
I tell the story a lot of times. We drove that 2-hour drive to go meet Skip, and I felt the whole 2 hours over there, we're breaking up on the drive back. You know, like I could feel it. Like if this doesn't go well, I'm gonna get the bad news. And we had such a positive meeting with Skip that it gave us a breath of life. And from there, we're like, all right, we can do this.
Skip, I'm Emily.
Emily, right?
I have been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. Yes.
Well, here we are.
We were just talking about how they'd almost lost hope and then they met you. So thank you for making the trip. Okay, what is this?
Birch oil from 1958.
Oh, you're kidding. Who distilled this?
My dad.
Really? Can I open it up and smell it?
We were cleaning out his house and I found this gallon jug. So I put it in these little vials and I had enough for each of my brothers.
This one is just rich and warm. I don't want this to be lost or broken. Like this is precious.
Yeah.
Until they did this by chemistry, methyl salicylate, that's how it was manufactured.
Came from birch.
It came from the birch. It was flavorings, it was candy, it's soda pop, birch beer.
These stills are not there anymore. What happened to the demand for birch?
That demand went away in 1959, 1960 when they were able to replicate methyl salicylate through chemistry.
Synthetic, man-made versus natural, coming from the trees, coming from the plants. Our body knows the difference. Where did this oil come from?
This came from our birch still at the Lumber Museum.
What's the picture?
That is a 1942 International Weapons Carrier, U.S. Marine Corps truck, and Dad used that in the forest, and he could load a whole still.
It was all done by hand then.
These, when they would skid the trees in, notice the fine tooth,
Yep.
and they would start their kerf, and that's why it has two handles.
So you were building stills with your dad at the age of 11. Did you type all of this out?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, from memory.
Yep, the forestry group in Wellsboro called me and said, Skip, can you build a birch still? I remember working with my dad. I remember him putting together a birch still when I'm 8 years old. And so, yeah, I think I can. When you stop and think, and only think about that era, that time, what you're doing, you can remember a lot.
I think you're unique that way. I don't think everyone remembers that type of detail.
Okay, well, I had it already. We went to the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum, and we built it there.
So Skip's been going through this history book of all of the articles, history with his father. His memory is impeccable, remembering all the dimensions, all of the detail. Skip has been able to show us through these specifications, through these old stills that were made back in the 1950s. And for me, it makes me so happy because we get to bring this legacy back. We are going into the Allegheny National Forest. We're going to see some birch trees, probably some oak trees, some cherry trees. This is where it all happens.
This is about the size of the material that we're getting on average. But when we started everything, this is the size that we were harvesting.
How old is this tree?
Probably 15 years old. And
Oh, wow.
And throughout the year, this gets really, when we talk about slipping season, you can score it like
Smells
that.
amazing.
And you can just pull the bark off.
That smells like root beer.
Yeah, exactly. I was with my forester. He took a little birch. He said, smell that. And I was like, oh my God. And that's what really sparked the whole thing for me of thinking, wait, what are we doing? So this is an old logging trail. And what you see all throughout the woods around here is this is where the black birch likes to grow. And it grows right along the road, and then it clogs up and it falls over. There were several projects where I'd have to come into a property like this of ours, but it'd be, maybe a mile and a half worth of this, and I'm cutting down every little tree along the way. Couldn't use them for a single thing because they weren't far enough
They were just wasted. So you just lay them on the forest floor.
Yeah.
Now we have good use of birch, but we're getting really great oil content even from these little guys.
Yep.
And we're creating value for the birch trees. We're allowing some of the other lumber that has higher value to grow.
Yeah.
As we harvest, it naturally just regrows and gives opportunity for new growth in the forest.
It's a win-win.
I want to take you back with me to understand why I'm feeling all the feels today and why I'm so full of gratitude and so full of just an abundance of amazing emotion. We go back to 1998. That was when I first came into the world of essential oils. And the company that I was working then had an adulteration issue. So I hired a consultant and he came into me and said, Emily, there's an issue with birch. This birch is completely synthetic. I'm like, no, that can't be right. And he said, no, it's synthetic. I said, well, how do you know? Back then it was just gas chromatography that they were doing. He said, see this little tail on the bottom of the peak that is methyl salicylate. So this little diameter, this little tail at the end shows us that is a synthetic marker for methyl salicylate. Basically, he said, if you sell it, I will expose the company because now you're selling a toxic product. So from 1998 on, I started looking for birch. Looked high and low, could not find it anywhere. No one was supplying a pure birch. So now doTERRA comes to the scene in 2008. What we've come to discover is the art of birch stopped about the 1960s. They figured out how to manufacture methyl salicylate, particularly in laboratories. They were able to manufacture it much cheaper. So to make a long story short, the right people always come when we have something big that we're looking for. And when we refuse to give up, those doors will open. We did it. We did it. And so last September, doTERRA was able to launch the world's first and only commercially distilled birch. We've tested everything else out there. It's all either synthetic or wintergreen with added methyl salicylate, synthetic. Nothing is what it says it is. I was able to be in Kane all day today, visiting Skip, visiting Royce, visiting our amazing employees, and actually seeing the oil come out of the still today. It was amazing. I am just on cloud nine. I don't know if you can feel all of my emotion through the screen, but it's just one of my most favorite days. I will never forget today. If you have a dream, if you have a vision that is so grand, so big, and sometimes you think, I don't know how I'm ever gonna get there, don't give up on that dream. Keep stepping forward, keep pursuing with everything that you have. And it might, like me, it might take you 25 years, 26 years to get there. It's okay. It's okay, because it's worth it. And it's amazing how doors and windows will open them to you. I love you all so much. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I just am so filled with gratitude and can't wait to see what else is possible.